Welcome to the Monday Mile edition of the Over 50 Health and Wellness Show, your quick hit of inspiration and practical advice to kickstart your week strong. Each Monday, I'll be joined by one of our Silver Edge coaches as we tackle one specific topic you might be struggling with, whether that's nutrition, fitness, mindset, or lifestyle. And we'll break it down into clear, simple, actionable tips you can start using today. And here's the best part. You can knock out this episode on your morning walk. Just lace up those sneakers, hit the pavement, and let us coach you through the first mile of the week. Okay, let's get moving. Coach Russell, welcome back to the Monday Mile edition of the Over 50 Health and Wellness Show. How's it going, man?
It's going great. How you doing, Kevin?
I'm doing fantastic. Happy Monday. Did you get your workout in this morning?
Not yet.
Not yet?
Still only 8:40 over here.
Still early for you, yeah.
I do an afternoon one.
Do you do afternoons? Yeah.
Or late morning, I should say.
Right on, right on. Yeah, I went to the gym early this morning. That's my usual way of starting my week. I love my Monday morning workout, so got in there, got it done. I've been thinking about, I've gotten a little lean here, and that's my normal coming into summer. I just move more, I got more hours in a day. I'm a little leaned out, and I'm thinking about, getting a little scrawny, thinking about building, going into a muscle building phase. In other words, I'm thinking about going on a bulk. So I thought it would be fun today to talk about bulking. And I guess first things first, let's define what we mean by bulking. Some of you out there might be bulking. What the heck is that? Russell, what the heck is bulking?
It's in a simple term, adding more calories than you consume or than you burn, I guess, throughout the day. So we all have pretty much a maintenance level of calories. And that's where you don't gain or lose any vast amount of weight. What would you say, 1 to 2 pounds over or under? Mm-hmm. But mostly you're kind of riding at that weight. And then when I bulk, so I'm kind of fearful of bulking. I only bring it up to like 200, 250 calories above.
Yep.
I still have that fat guy thing inside me where,
Sure.
I'm afraid to go back. So I fall into the same patterns as others. And that's usually where it's at. Now, for me in a bulk, I usually go a month or two before I have to come down for a bit because it feels like I'm eating a lot of food. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you feel that same way.
Yeah, eventually I do. When I get up over 4,000 calories, for frame of reference, 3,200 calories is about right now more or less my maintenance calories. So like Russell said, we all have a maintenance calorie set point. And it is when we talk about having a healthy or fast metabolism, that means you have a higher maintenance calorie than a lower maintenance calorie. So for example, if you're a woman and you're eating 1,200 calories a day and you're neither gaining nor losing any weight, that is, then your maintenance calories, 1,200 calories. That's not very much, and especially if you're an active person. Now, if that same woman, if she's eating 2,400 calories a day and she's not gaining or losing any weight, so we would say her maintenance calories is 2,400 calories, that's a much faster metabolism, right? So when we talk about bulking, what we're really talking, like Russell said, is a calorie surplus. So typically in our coaching practice, we're pretty careful how we, most of if we got some bros in there, some guys that are really looking to add some muscle, we're going to call it bulking. For our ladies and for, like Russell said, it gets in my head. I don't want to be bulking too long because the fat guy inside of me starts to, that insecurity that I have starts to gnaw at me a little bit. But basically what it is a controlled way of eating more food with the intention of building some muscle. We don't want to bulk or eat in a calorie surplus just to do that. But what we want to do is add a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit more calories strategically, slowly, over time, so that we can build muscle. So a couple of things have to be true for your body to build any appreciable amount of muscle. And one of them is you got to be in a calorie surplus. You have to have the building blocks, just like you can't build a house without concrete and 2x4s and hammers and nails and all the equipment. You can't build muscle without basically the amino acids or the calories coming in. So that has to be true. There's other things like progressive overload, and you have to have the correct dose of a training program, right? You want a professionally designed, age-appropriate functional strength training program. We say that all the time. So that's what we need to build muscle. So Russell, we talk about building muscle all the time on this show, but why this emphasis on getting stronger, on building muscle, and why would, say, a man or woman who's got 20 pounds to lose that's stuck, why might they consider stopping dieting and actually do some sort of a reverse diet or some sort of a calorie surplus? Why would we, as a coach who's going to help somebody whose goal is to lose 20 pounds, why on earth would we start them potentially by asking them to eat a little bit more food?
Yeah, if you're coming to me as a male client and you're eating, 16 to 1800 calories a day, I don't have anywhere to go to drop calories safely and get you in a good spot. And so that's why you would want to add calories or bulk or in that sense, because you're the gas tank is empty almost and you're still not making any movements in the weight loss world. So
Right.
we want to add calories, get you in a good spot, get you feeling better, get you moving better. Hopefully performance in the gym is better. Sleep would be better, ideally. And then we have somewhere to cut from. So if I were able to take a guy who's 5'10", 5'11", 2 something, and he's only eating 1800 calories, I want to bring him up to, 28. It would be a great marker to get to. Have him riding there, and then we could drop calories after a while. And I think that's the number one question. Oh, when are we going to start the cut? And it's like, it's such a tough, I can't say, like some people, I've taken some people higher they were eating 800 more calories and they were losing weight. And they're like, when are we going to do the cut? And I'm like, things are going pretty good. We don't need a cut right now. The body's working,
Right.
So,
right.
And then others, they're just not dialed in yet. They're not sleeping right. Their performance isn't great. So we got to maybe stay there for a while and maintain that for a bit to get your body back to almost like a reset button,
Right. Metabolic reset.
Yeah. So
100%.
yeah, it's such a hard question to answer, and until we get all those markers correct, that's where we can start cutting calories. But it's such a hard, it's so hard too, because you come to me and, you want to lose weight, and then I'm giving you more food.
Yeah, right. It's a tough sell. Yes,
It's
people,
a
I'm here to
super
tell
tough
you,
sell.
this is what we do. I don't know how we ended up here, but 5+ years ago when I started this business, I was just doing general weight loss for people in the 50s and 60s. And somehow our specialty ended up here. We specialize in 50 and 60-year-olds with trash metabolisms. And what that means is, like Russell said, I'd get a guy in and he's got 20 pounds to lose. And I get under the covers. I track his food for a week or so. And I find out he's eating 1,800 calories a day. Well, how do I put this guy on a diet? He's already been dieting for the last probably decade off and on, and he loses some weight, gains some weight, loses weight. What do I do? And really, your only option at that point is to reverse diet him, to get him to eat a little bit more food and get him to a healthy place. And that's a really tough sell for a dude that wants to lose 20 pounds. And I don't know. I was going to say it's even harder sometimes to sell to the ladies because they tend to cling to a number on the scale more so than the guys, but maybe that's not even necessarily true. I know some guys that are pretty tied to a number on the scale as well. But like Russell said in his example, if I can get a guy from 1,800 calories, that's his maintenance, by the way. He's not gaining or losing. He's just stuck there. He wants to lose weight and he's dieting, but he's not. That's his new maintenance. If we can bring him to 2,800 calories, and that's his maintenance. So over time, like Russell said, that's not a short period of time. That's a long period of time. Let's say it's 6 months, right? I know that's not what you want to hear if you're a dude that wants to lose 20 pounds, but let's just say it's that long. Then now let's say you hadn't lost or gained a pound in that time. We've done this strategically. Let's say you weighed 200 pounds when you started, and at the end of this whole thing, you still weigh 200 pounds. A couple of things are going to be true if you're doing this right. You haven't gained weight, but you're eating more food, and now you're eating 2,800 calories, and that's your new set point. That's your new maintenance calories. You're not gaining or losing any weight from there. Now Russell's got some room to put you on a diet, to cut your calories and move into a fat loss phase. But what he's done from 1,800 calories to 2,800 calories, he didn't say tomorrow eat 2,800 calories, right, Russell? That's not going to work.
No.
You're going to slowly, gradually. So maybe week 1, he eats 1,900 calories. Week 2, he eats 2,000 calories. Maybe week 3, he eats 2,100 calories. Maybe Russell says, you know what, let's just stay here another week. So 2 weeks at 2,100 calories. And then he eats 2,300 calories. You get the point, right? And so weeks and weeks and weeks go by, and we're slowly doing this. And at the same time, the other piece of the magic here, if you just slowly ate more food, that would still be, from a metabolism point, a good thing for somebody who's chronically undereating. But Russell, you're also having this guy or gal do strength training along the way, right? So we're giving those calories a place to go, and where they're going is to add some lean muscle. And what's happening here, kind of under the covers, a part of the magic is, as this guy or gal is eating a little bit more food week over week, and they're getting stronger in the gym. So they're practicing progressive overload. They're really working hard. They're adding some lean muscle mass, some of this type 2 muscle that we talk about on this podcast all the time. And that's the metabolically expensive type of muscle. Your body will only have as much of that as it's always looking for ways to pare that down, right? So what you have to do is send a loud, clear signal that you need this muscle. We do that by working out in the gym through a good professionally designed program with progressive overload. We're sending the signal, we need this muscle. And when I say that muscle is metabolically expensive, what I mean is that muscle requires more calories to keep it on your body, even at rest. So as Russell and I, we're both seated right now, we're talking to each other, we're having a conversation. We're not spending a whole lot of calories, but the lean muscle in our body requires more calories than, say, a body that doesn't have the same amount of calories. So we have a higher calorie burn, that is a faster metabolism is another way to say that, just sitting around here because we have this muscle on our body. So that's really what we're talking about when we say bulking or reverse diet or calorie surplus. We want to do this in a strategic manner, but we also want that those additional calories to go somewhere productive, and that is muscle. And I love to say this: and we'll use a 6-month time frame. If in 6 months I could get you to lose 5 pounds of fat and gain 5 pounds of muscle, the scale wouldn't have budged, right? The scale says the exact same thing. You were 200 pounds to begin with, 200 pounds to end, or maybe you're 150 pounds to begin, 150 pounds to end if you're a lady, whatever. But if we got you to lose 5 pounds of fat and gain 5 pounds of muscle, you would look dramatically different. You would feel dramatically different. You would be turning heads. People who hadn't seen you in 6 months would be, oh my God, what have you done? What do you do? Wow, how much weight have you lost? You say, I hadn't lost a pound. And you'd have to explain, well, what I'm doing, I'm eating more food, not less food. I'm working out. And it would be a life-changing event for you to do that. Russell, I know because, again, you also specialize in this as well, working with people who are, let's face it, metabolic dumpster fires, most of them coming into our program. Do you see this all the time where people are kind of making that, it's not like you can convert fat to muscle. That's not what's happening. But we get people to burn a little bit of fat, build a little bit of muscle, and we're really focused on that build a little bit of muscle in that bulk phase, that calorie surplus phase, right?
Yes, and you were right about the dramatic difference that 5 pound fat loss, 5 pound muscle gain. But
even a 2 pound, a 2 pound switch would be a dramatic change, right?
And the scale remains the same. That's the hardest part, right? Let's be honest. To be vulnerable here, I started off this year trying to do a weight loss for the summer, and something wasn't right. I was just feeling in the dumps and feeling horrible, and really went to get a test, and my testosterone was in like low 100s. So
that's bottomed out, folks. Yeah,
and I just, in spite
of doing everything right, in spite of doing everything
right.
Yeah.
I sleep right, I eat right, I exercise, I do everything right.
Right.
Just it's just naturally gone down. So, I had to abandon a diet. And in the past, I would have pushed right through, right? Like, oh, I got to be tough and mentally tough and this and that. It's not that. It's not right for my body right now. So I recently got on shots, replacement therapy. And so the goal is I'm going to ride this out for a little bit till I feel better, and then maybe go into a cut.
Revisit that.
But you have to be smart sometimes and say, all right, yeah, I won't have the body I wanted by July, but I'm building a better foundation for the rest of my life. Because I don't know about you, Kevin, I'm tired of doing I was tired of doing yo-yo diets, and I think every time I did one, it got more and more frustrating because
Yes.
I was like, oh my God, I'm back here again. How did I end up back here?
Right.
And, right. So I'm almost happier that I made that decision of abandoning the diet and looking out for my health, because that's what I preach all the time too.
Right.
And sometimes it's harder for us to do things that we preach. Everyone probably thinks we're dialed in and we're like, oh, we could do this.
100%.
Shut this part of our brain off and turn this one on, and it never works that way.
Yeah, that's funny you say that. I feel like sometimes I have two brains. I got my Coach Kevin brain, and then I just got my Kevin brain. And sometimes that there's a little push and pull there. But that's well said. So that's a really good point. Whether you should cut, that is diet, that is calorie deficit, whether you should maintain, or whether you should bulk, that is calorie surplus or reverse diet, however you want to say that, is really highly individual where you are. I'll say this though, a lot of the folks, again, because we specialize in this area, if you're someone who suspects maybe that your metabolism is trashed, and the signs there would be, hey, I'm not sleeping great, I'm grumpy and hangry all the damn time, I'm on, like Russell said, I'm on yet another damn diet, or I've been dieting forever and I'm hard plateauing, or nothing works for me, that's a sign that probably your metabolism's trash. It doesn't mean you're broken. And it doesn't mean that your metabolism is broken. It's just your metabolism is doing exactly what it was evolutionarily designed to do. It just means it needs a little TLC. It needs a little love and care. And perhaps you should consider a break from dieting and trying something different for a while. And certainly eating a little bit more food strategically, cleaning up your diet. So eating the right foods, prioritizing proteins and whole foods, being mindful about eating, being diligent with your strength training. Try that for 6 months. Just skip the diet altogether. I think you'll be amazed by the changes. I really do.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. All right, Russell. Well, I think that we are going to leave it there. So folks, give you something to think about this Monday. What should you do? Are you ready to go into calorie deficit? Or is calorie maintenance the place for you to be? Or is it time for you to consider bulking? Is it time for you to consider adding a little bit more food? We'd love to hear from you. Make sure you get in our private Facebook group. It's called the Over 50 Lean Body Blueprint. You guys can just type that into the search bar of Facebook and it'll take you right there. Or I will throw a link to that in the show notes down below. But until next week, stay strong. Okay, folks, that is your Monday Mile for this week. Quick, simple, and packed with power. If you found this helpful, be sure to share it with a friend who's walking their own path to better health. And hey, don't forget to tune in this Wednesday for our full-length episode of the Over 50 Health and Wellness Show. Until then, keep walking, stay consistent, and as always, stay strong.